Welcome back to another episode of Space Engineers. I've got something kind of crazy here, and bear with me. I've also been having a lot of technical difficulties with OBS Studio. It's looking really choppy. I've turned down the resolution and the frame rate, but it's not looking too great. I just equipped the rocket launchers. No reason for that. So this is a very asymmetrical vehicle. It's really... Oh! This is a cliff? Alright. Well, that's what I've built this for. I'm going to try and tackle this terrain. It's kind of like a Mars rover, but you'll notice I built it asymmetrical, and I built... The body is the front left control arm. And I think that's a good solution, because I've seen people build this. Now, I built a big body, it's heavy, and that's a really bad idea. It's all heavy armor, and it has 2 refineries in it, and a ton of cargo containers, and 2 assemblers as well. All speed modules, except for one of my assemblers is missing a couple speed modules, just the way I kind of crammed stuff together. So, having all that weight, the front left control arm, I've had to do some adjustments to transfer weight to that front right tire, just by putting some active suspension here. The rotor is actually way back on that arm, but it's putting out torque to try and push that down to transfer some of the weight. Just about 15 million Newton meters of torque, which is actually only like half of what the rotor thinks is possible for it. These are big electric vehicles. Like those tires, like if you're not really familiar with Space Engineers, those tires are about the size of a bungalow. They're like 22 feet tall. It's actually, those are like the medium-sized tires, which is kind of like what you'd expect on... Oh god. Jeez. Oh, watch out. So this is a good terrain for testing. Look at this. If I could survive this, I'd be lucky. I actually got scared and started reversing it. Let's just go for it. Should be fine. Yeah, it's fine. So I was just kind of going crazy. I was like ramrodding along. You don't want to go that fast. You want to take it easy. Especially at like 1.2 G per tam. This is a heavy gravity planet per tam. And I don't know. I've got to be careful. Especially like this thing is still very prototype-ish. Work in progress. Oh. Put the brakes on. Let's see. Can I stop? Yeah, see, I should have a lot more power. Like, I feel like I should be able to stop. But it's just really heavy. Really heavy. I should almost put some reverse thrusters on this, too. I could. At least, like, one. But the problem is, like, especially on Pertam, it doesn't even make sense. Like, you don't want to just use ice driving around, like, only if you're on a hill that's too steep, you might start using your ice. But, yeah, I just wanted to share, this is my solution to the making ridiculous rovers. I should have used light armor. It was supposed, it's not like, this thing's not really strong enough to, like, survive a fight. Obviously, it's you know, it's maybe against some small grids, whatever. But yeah, I've made a mobile base. Like, I got a survival kit and a cryopod, so I can. It's a real mobile base. It's got. I really like these industrial assemblers. I use them in regular refineries in this one just for the orientation I use them in. And it's pressurized, as you can see here, high pressure, and it's low pressure outside. It's not unbreathable, actually. The astronaut's fine. And this is my solution for getting up there. Is I'm just going to stick a ladder here, and I think. Oh, default. Why am I? Yeah. I'm gonna stick a ladder here, and you should be able to climb up there now. Oh, okay, so we can reach this one. We can definitely reach this one. Yep, can reach that one, no problem. Alright. Oh yeah, another thing I had to do. So this is it's a ridiculous vehicle, okay? Some things might as well show. I'm really sorry if that keyboard's bothering you too. It's a new keyboard, it's all clackety. I just wanted one of those light up ones, but it's so clackety. I do like the feel of the keystrokes though. This is just how I save space sometimes. I mean, I could have put a full-size antenna, but it would get in the way. Like, I don't want all sides of the connector to be blocked off. I already only have enough room for a fairly small ship. I try to put like enough turrets for what it is, but I only have 3 turrets on it, and then like little like interior turrets everywhere. But honestly, like I wouldn't worry too much. This is not the like strongest. Like these tires are so vulnerable. The way I've got them attached like that. Even though this is heavy armor, I'm sure it's damaged. Like, no damage yet, but I'm worried about him getting damaged. But yeah, so that's my take on it. Just make the control arm fused with the body here on this side. Let one side be free. Instead of trying to use 2 rotors, and make it like, okay, I've got, here's your body, you have an arm on a rotor, it's hard to tell, but it pivots about right here. That's my rotor, you can see it, in there, and then you put a secondary arm here. Okay, great. And you'd be tempted to do that on the other side, but then you need to use a script for stabilizing the body. So just don't put a rotor on the other side. Just don't. Just put one arm at the back, and then you'll have direct control over this wheel as well, and that'll enable you to use the subgrid wheel control script more easily as well. So it actually makes it use only one script, use it better, and makes the whole vehicle one less subgrid and one less rotor is a good thing for space engineers to simulate the physics. The weight transfer is bad, so I think it would work better if you just put the cockpit on that control arm and then spread around the components a bit. You can use advanced rotors. I don't know, like there's different ways you can make this work really good. Like obviously these don't need to be this weird obscure angle. They could have been 90 degrees. So like if I use an advanced rotor and a conveyor junction there, I could use like oxygen tank, hydrogen tank for the legs. I mean, like it might not be the wisest, but you can do things like that on your smaller builds or on your bigger builds too. It doesn't matter. But like if you're trying to, like this one, I was thinking I'm going to build a weird armored tank, but it's going to have this suspension, which kind of defeats the purpose of it being armored, I admit. Same with these fun-looking windows. It's a weak point. And again, these fixed rocket launchers, maybe if I was coming up against a station, I could use it, but it's not going to be very easy to aim that at anything that moves. So yeah, it's just a concept vehicle to show how I laid out the suspension to make it user-friendly, easier to build, and actually not tumbly and crazy. I've seen a bunch of other people do that, make a suspension kind of like this and get all crazy with lots of fun ideas. Actually, my other prototype is a small grid. Actually, I think it's better Whoops. Wrong button. Entity list. Oh, it didn't name any of them. It'll be this one. This one. Not that one. That. Let's yeah, I think this. Yeah, this is the. Sorry. I should clean some stuff up. This is also another way to simplify it. Actually, so I had a prototype before, and I had a rotor in behind the cockpit, an advanced rotor, that made it pivot, rock back and forth. I decided to get rid of that, and this is, I ended up with this. And this just has, well, that weird shape, and then just those two arms. And I've softened the suspension on all the wheels, actually. And because the wheel suspensions are wheel suspensions, then it turns out that I didn't having the rotor, like I had a rotor to allow the front to like swivel 45 degrees left and right, which was pretty wild. It's cool, but so this little guy, I think I did a better job with this little one. It's a little scary, a little sketchy, but I'm already going almost the same speed. Like I could keep up with the big one with this, almost. I think the big one definitely goes faster, but it works. This one, it doesn't maybe work quite as well as the true overcomplicated suspension, but using the advanced rotors and having the turrets come through the side made it cool, I think. But I have an embarrassing problem with this one. If you fill it with cargo, the front isn't heavy enough and it tips back. But look, I got a lot more traction with this thing. That's why I do like it better. So I'm gonna remake it so that it doesn't have the balance point problem. That could be as simple as just removing. Oh, is that? I think I see it. I'm coming to join the big one here. But yeah, it's a little dangerous at this, even at this speed. Like, oh, what happened? See what happened? I don't know what happened. Something broke. I made a crater in the ground. Didn't I see him over here? Didn't I? Oh, I'm near it? I don't know. So I gotta watch out for going too fast. It's not like some of my like one-piece rovers where you can catch a lot of speed and you do jumps. Nope. You can just go in style, I guess, with, you know, like that's the really unfortunate thing about these modification to, you think you're gonna make a rover that's really good, that these long arms, so you have more suspension travel. Turns out suspension travel is hard for the game to handle. Wow, this expanse looks so much bigger in this rover. Yeah, I've actually covered ground in that big one. It's like this was right beside where I was making this, and then I went and I started making that big one. And I just took off in the big one. I went over that mountain, like I covered ground. And this thing, like, I'm gunning it at my what I've set it to be a top speed. It was like 80 kilometers an hour, and it's dangerous at the speed. While the simple vehicles, they just have fixed one-piece body. I could just basically delete the rotors, copy paste those arms back on, and it would like perform better, even though I went to all the trouble to make those little articulated arms. You could just make it, might as well just make it look like it has arms instead. Like if I just went into settings and locked the rotors, be safer. But it does look cool when it starts to get wild. What's up with my... Yeah, see, it looks kind of cool how it moves. Okay, I better slow down. Okay, speed up. See, I like seeing them move, but it's bad for it. Contrary to what you'd think. It just makes stuff glitch out more. You're better off to just put like tons of wheels all over the bottom. Like if you're going for practicality. So like you could also, like, these would work really good for a small grid. And then if it went much slower than this, like it made it go really slow, and if you made the arms really long, make everything into light armor, and then make it for a climber to climb over like sheer cliffs. Like, you could make a cool climber that utilizes them for real, but it wouldn't need to be this even this complicated. This one only has 2 rotors in the design now, and it doesn't need to be like, it's so small of a vehicle too. It's so small compared to the terrain that it's not really necessary. So like, yeah, you'd want to make it bigger and like long arms on it, and make it okay, let's see, can I spot the big rover from here? I'm trying to get up on top of this mountain because I remember crossing this mountain, but I'm not sure where the massive, where I parked that massive rover. Oh, I think I probably even crossed another mountain from there. So this one does have a lot more control authority. Oh yeah, I busted it up pretty good. Its wheels barely hanging on there. I must have just bottomed it out. See, that's the problem with those subgrids too. Is they, I think that about wraps it up. This is it's getting pretty crazy long, so